Alright guys, this is my first YouTube video that I've ever done, so bear with me. I've already had some trouble. I actually made one when these comics came in on Friday, but I wasn't able to get it uploaded because it was too big and I didn't follow all their rules. So I'm going to try to keep it pretty short and pretty sweet for this one, so it won't take as long to upload and it won't be too big a file, because it really sucks to sit there for almost 2 hours to watch it upload and then realize that it gives you an error because it's longer than 10 minutes. Anyway, though, this is my unboxing of my recent comic book buy off of eBay. You can find out more information about it at my website. It's dollarbincomics.blogspot.com. Basically, what I'm doing every month is I'm spending about $20 to $30, and I'm going to one or maybe two comic book shops on eBay, and I'm buying a bunch of back issue comics to try to get my best bang for my buck, trying to do things like I used to do as a kid whenever I used to go to comic book shows, and I'd have about 20 bucks to spend, and I'd buy everything I could as quickly as I could. I buy my comics online primarily from Mile High Comics. If you're not familiar with Mile High, some folks have posted on YouTube before about Mile High, and they've just kind of recognized him as being a seller, kind of like it was just a guy with a bunch of long boxes sitting in his room, and he's just posting up tons of back issues. Mile High Comics, if you don't know, they are the largest back issue comic book supplier in the world. They're definitely one of the largest comic book stores in the world. If you combine all their stores together, I think they also have the largest square footage mega store in the world as well. Chuck Rosansky is the owner, and he's one of the more well-known folks in the comic book industry. I wanted to highlight that I've already taken them out of the box, but this is what they come shipped in. It's a really sturdy box. I think it's actually made out of a comic book long box or short box that they actually tear apart to kind of make these in. Very sturdy. Comes packed pretty well, and I don't really have to worry about the comics getting bent. Now you'll see all these comics are bagged and boarded. Only one or two of the comics that I got from my Mile High purchase this time around actually had bags. Everything was boarded though, and usually whenever I do get them in, I like to bag and board them in my own bags and boards, because I like Silver Age comic size bags and boards. I like having a little bit of space. I know they move around and whatnot, but I'd rather have that little bit of space, because whenever I'm moving them in and out of the box, I don't want to have the edges scuffed up like they may be, or bent like they may be if they were in a current size bag and board. So anyway, these are the comics that I got. The ones that are actually taped down, the flaps are taped down, I have already read. It's Sunday. I got these on Friday, and I've been doing a lot of reading this weekend. So those I have read. The other ones, I think there's only maybe one or two that haven't been flapped down. I haven't read yet. So anyway, here's what I got. First one, Daredevil 320. Chapter 1 of Fall from Grace in fine condition. I've been looking for this for a long time. I finally found it on Mile High. They actually had a copy in, and it was really inexpensive. This is one that actually came bagged and boarded. You can see the fine sticker on it. One of the things about Mile High is they're really fairly consistent with their grading. However, I'm not going to say I'm disappointed this go around, but there are a couple of comics that I've gotten that really didn't meet the grade I thought they should, like this one. This is Daredevil 319, Fall from Grace Prologue, second print. The black cover, I already had the first print white cover in near mint. It's an excellent old school storyline from the early 90s. It wasn't part of the whole ultra gimmick, super high number of issues printed type deal. These were fairly low runs, low prints. The prologue got a lot of interest, a lot of buzz. It sold out very quickly, and then they put out a second print. It says it came in as fine, but you can kind of see right there there's some sort of damage. I don't know if that's from banding or if it was put on the top of a bunch of other comics and just kind of got crushed, but something happened to it there. Honestly, if it were me, it wouldn't have been a fine. It would have been a very good, but I'm not really too worried about it. It didn't cost me like $1.50 maybe, so that's not too bad. Amazing Spider-Man 544. This is One More Day Part 1. This is the Joe Quesada cover. Excellent story. Here's the one I actually did read. Both of these came, so it's amazing. That one came in apparently good condition. I haven't looked through it. I'd give it a fine. It's got a little bit of what looks like discoloration down there on that left corner, but it's fairly minor. It's nothing that I would think would take it down to a good or very good. It'd be at least a very good plus. This one actually came in fine, and most people would actually consider that to be near mint. Amazing Spider-Man Annual 21, The Marriage of Peter and Mary Jane. This one came in very good. it had a band mark on the right hand side, and there's a little bit of discoloration along the right hand side that you can clearly see in the video. Pretty fair to say it's a very good comic. You'll also notice that I always keep uh, my invoice. Whenever Mile High sends me an invoice, I always put it in one bag with one comic, and I'll always know what I actually bought on that date and which comics actually came in that group. It's kind of a cool thing I do. Alright, Batman 423. I don't really know anything about the story. I haven't read it yet. The whole reason I got it was because of the cover. This is a Todd McFarlane Batman cover, and it's an iconic cover. It's fairly well known. I'm not going to say it's a classic yet, but it is one of the more well-known covers that Todd McFarlane has done. Speaking of cover artists, this is Strange Adventures number 207. This is a Neal Adams cover. Neal Adams artwork throughout. Neal Adams' third appearance of Dead Man. 1967 comic, Silver Age comic, in good condition. Came in good condition. It's a little bit loose. The cover's pretty loose, so I haven't read it, and I'm probably not going to read it because I don't want to damage it too bad. I only paid about $5 for it, so no big deal. 1967 winner for best comic book cover. Pretty outstanding stuff. This comic I did not get from Mile High, but I put a best offer in for it. Got it ridiculously low, and I couldn't pass it up whenever I got that ridiculously low best offer approval. This is Civil War number 3, the the Michael Turner variant with Iron Spider-Man costume on the front. I loved this cover when it first came out, and I really wanted it, but it was pretty expensive back then. Prices have they fluctuate, but this time they went down and they're fairly stable right now. One of those things I'd recommend anybody do if you ever want to put in a best offer. The worst they can say is no, or they can give you a counter offer. I was just lucky that mine went through. I was actually expecting a counter offer, and I was willing to pay for that. I weren't willing to pay what they were asking though, but they took my original offer. Got this dirt cheap. Batman 404, Year 1, Part 1, Frank Miller story. It's loosely what the Batman movie, the original Batman, or the newest Batman movies, Batman Begins. I think that's the first one that came back with Christian Bale as Batman and as Bruce Wayne. Loosely based off of the Frank Miller stories in here. Very good stuff for early 80s. You wouldn't expect to find good writing like that during that time. I'm a big Frank Miller fan. X-O Manowar number 15. I'm going to do a whole video review of this comic book. Never was a fan of Valiant growing up, although I had some. I bought this one because it was the pink cover and it was cheap, and I remember it as a kid being fairly expensive, so I picked it up for next to nothing. It's an awesome story. X-O's a really cool character, and I'm planning on reading some more about him. I hate that the Valiant universe is pretty much gone now. Daredevil 241. Not really a whole lot to say about this one. It's a Christmas story. Nothing significant going on in Daredevil's life. The only thing that was cool about it, this is a Todd McFarlane pencils on the inside. And then finally, Wolverine 26. I picked this one up thinking that the entire interior was done by Todd McFarlane, but come to find out, to his credit, he only has a pinup that he did of Wolverine in the very end. Still a cool story though. These early Wolverines are really cool. I'm looking to actually go from 25 all the way back to number 1 and try to complete this run. But anyway, guys, those are the comics I picked up this month, not including the Michael Turner variant Civil War number 3. I ended up buying 11 comics at $29 plus $2.95 shipping from Mile High. I definitely recommend them on eBay if you want to do a lot of back issue purchases. Anyway, folks, check me out at my website again, dollarbincomics.blogspot.com. Take care.